Hi everybody, good morning. It's Mandy Crown here and welcome to my weekly moment of reflection. And this week we're talking about being original. I've been doing these moments of reflection for about 4 or 5 years now. Started with my father died, it's quite a bad place. And quite often I would just see a photograph or I'd see a quote or something really beautiful and it would just actually make me take a step back, step out of the bad place I was in and see things in a slightly different way. And so really this all started about helping me to move forward to a better place, and it's developed over the years into weekly emails and now into live video. So I really hope you enjoy it. Please like and share as we go through, and if there's anybody you think might really benefit from the tip today, then please do copy them in and share it with them, and hopefully it'll help them. That'll be fantastic, because that's what it was all about, it's by helping other people. So there's always a quote that goes with my moment of reflection, and this week it is, "You were born an original, don't die a copy." And it's really, really interesting. I love watching people, I'm fascinated by it. And the whole socially acceptable piece of human nature is really, really interesting. Even though we've been around for many millions of years, some of our parts of our brain are extremely old, and the oldest part of the brain is a crocodile brain, which you've probably heard about. That's a fight or flight, that's a survival instinct part of the brain. But the next part of the brain to develop was called the chimp brain, or the social brain. And this is very much about when we start to live in social groups, how we reacted to each other in those groups. And it's as applicable now as it was millions of years ago. And quite often you will see, in the playground or at work, there'll always be a popular person and everybody sort of migrates to that person. And there'll be people on the outside or people who are ostracized, they're not seen as being the same as everybody else. And it all goes back to the development of the chimp brain. So if you imagine a family of chimps and the head chimp would, to protect himself, surround himself with all the other chimps and make sure they stayed close to him. And that therefore meant that if a saber-toothed tiger or predator came along, he would be the last one to be got because he was on the middle, therefore he was the safest place. So everybody else then thought, well, if I want to be safe too, the closest I can get to the centre chimp, the head chimp, the better place I will be. And it is that psychology which still applies today. So if you imagine you have a group of chimps, you have the head chimp in the middle, all his sort of best mates on the inside, and then the people who are less popular or seen as being not so much part of the group are pushed to the outside, and therefore they're the ones that are going to get got by a predator first. And if you have a chimp who, for whatever reason, they decide isn't part of the group and they don't want it in the group, they'll push it outside completely and he'll be a complete loner. And therefore he will be the first one to be got by whichever predator is passing in that particular moment. And therefore, for safety and for survival, being part of that group and being accepted by that group, and even better, being close to the head chimp, was a really, really important part of where we were. The thing is that we've come a long way in millions of years and things have changed. Things aren't the same now as they were back then. But this sort of social structure of acceptance is still really, really important, and we don't really think about it. And despite millions of years of evolution and the fact we developed 2 more brains since then, which are much more about logic and reasoning, this whole social construct is still really, really, really important. But what's interesting is that we're all unique, we're all born different, but an awful lot of people will try and be like somebody else. They think that then they will become that person. So they might try to dress like them, they might like to wear the same makeup or the same hairstyle, or start to try and do things like them. But they can never be like that person. They can never be as talented as. And trying to copy somebody else is never going to work because you're being somebody who you're actually not. And faking it is impossible long term. So it's really, really important that actually we let go of that whole social construct. We don't have saber-toothed tigers anymore. We have a much more logical reasoning brain. The way that technology has developed over the last 100 years, 200 years or so has made a huge world between where we were as apes effectively, needing the social survival skills to where we are now. And so we need to really let go of that wanting to be like other people. And what's really interesting is when you study successful people in this world, the ones who've gone on to achieve great things, have great ideas, build great companies and so on, often if you look back at their childhood, they were the one that was the ostracized one on the other side of the playground. They were pushed out of the group, they were seen as being different, and therefore but the way they reacted to that is they fought back. So, okay, I am different. I'm going to embrace that difference and that originality. I'm going to go and do something with it and make something of it in the world. And they're the ones who go on to achieve greatness because they weren't part of the group. So while it might seem safe in the playground to be part of that group and be with the popular kids and so on, in the long term, that's not a good place to be. You really do need to embrace your originality. It took me many years to accept that I was wired up differently to most other people. And that was quite a tough thing when I finally realised I was. But actually, once I accepted that, I've just embraced it ever since. And so you'll see me doing all sorts of funny, quirky things. And in many ways, it's really good to stand out because people notice you. And some of you know that I was in the army for 34 years, an engineering officer. In virtually everything I did, I was the only female. And I stood out a mile because I was female and everybody else was male. And actually, I really embraced that in the end. So do embrace your originality. It's really important. Enjoy being different and really prove to the world how different you can be. So I hope you enjoyed that. If we haven't met yet, then my name is Mandy Cran. People come to me when they realise that they need to make changes in their life if they want to have better health and quality family time in the years ahead. So I'd like to ask you a question. Would you like to have better health and quality family time in the years ahead? Because if the answer is yes to either or both of those, then we need to talk. And the best way is to message me on Facebook. It's Mandy Cran with an IE with Mandy, or my page is The Buzz Group Be More, either of which you'll find. I look forward to talking to you. So that's it for this week. Join me next week live at 10 o'clock here on Facebook, The Buzz Group Be More. I'm going to be talking about talent. And have a great week.